AI has been here for a long time. What better way to put to work technology to impact human health? It's going to make our life easier. But what AI will never do is replace your doctor because humans are so complex. AI has no clue what feelings are. It is great as a tool, and I think it will stay a tool.
I do think that there's a tremendous potential for AI to make humans more humane and more human.
Living in the moment, let's have some fun.
What if your next doctor wasn't just a doctor? What if every physician had an AI partner capable of reading millions of medical studies in seconds? Would medicine become more human or less? And perhaps the bigger question, who gets to decide how this technology is used? Today, we're exploring one of the biggest transformations medicine has ever seen. Hi, I'm Aimee Rickabus, and welcome to The Manage Her, the show where we explore what it really means to lead, not only in business, but in our homes, our health, our relationships, our communities, and ultimately ourselves. Because leadership isn't something women need to learn, it's something we've been doing all along. The question is, how do we recognize it, strengthen it, and use it to build the future we actually want? Today's conversation is about one of the most disruptive technologies humanity has ever created: artificial intelligence. Most of us think about ChatGPT writing emails or helping us organize our calendars, but AI is already changing medicine. It's helping detect cancer earlier, predict disease, design new drugs, analyze medical images, accelerate scientific research, and perhaps someday it may help doctors make better decisions than ever before. But technology is never just about technology. It's about people, it's about ethics, it's about trust, it's about access, and it's about ensuring that women aren't once again left out of the designing of the future. So the question we're managing today is, how can AI help create a healthier future without losing the humanity that medicine depends on? Joining me today is someone uniquely qualified to answer that question. Dr. Mitrani is a physician scientist, entrepreneur, researcher, and global advocate for the future of medicine. She recently completed her certification in AI in healthcare from Harvard Medical School. Wow. Further expanding her expertise at the intersection of medicine and artificial intelligence. Her work has focused on regenerative medicine, stem cells, women's health, and translating complex science into practical solutions that improve lives. Today, we're taking that conversation one step further. Dr. Mari, welcome back to The Manager. So nice to see you.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for having me again. And it just happened. And when things happen like this, I love it.
Well, medicine's about to change, and I couldn't think of a better person to talk AI and medicine with. So when people hear AI, so many people are still thinking about chatbots or writing emails, but AI is quietly transforming healthcare.
It is.
So for someone who isn't following this every day, what is happening right now?
It's very interesting because people think that AI just enter the chat. AI has been here for a long time. As you mentioned, I recently studied this like more seriously, and it can be backtracked to the 80s where like systems were starting to be processed and implemented for a future that didn't exist, right? It just like the internet was starting to come, but the thought of it, of having all of this information to be uplifted, one day it was going to happen. What happened right now is that now we have large language models that can actually, we've been just gathering data, and it's been sitting. And we're at a point right now where, yes, technology, the availability, and us humans understanding what and how to do with it has translated in the last few years to like, whoa, wait a second, now we can really process this large amount of data in a specific way. But it's not that we didn't have it. We have been having different systems, especially in healthcare, that have been with us coding and analyzing. It is not new, and people are scared of it when they did not know that it's currently happening. Your hospitals have it. When you go see a doctor, like in the background, all those systems have AI integration. So let's just break the ice that way.
Yeah, would you say that we're witnessing another technological advancement? Are we taking this to the next level? Do you think?
Definitely, somebody the other day said it's like when electricity came into the picture, right? Are those big leaps when the internet came in, right? But this is as big. It's like it really doesn't matter if you want to be on board or don't. Humanity is adopting this, and it's going to be the before and after we had this type of big data analysis. So it is a large leap for sure. Like mark this years, right? I would say I don't even know what year we are, but I would say from 2024, end of 2024, all 25, and now 26, which is half of the year right now, the speed that we're learning. So even when you start learning about a way, right? I remember a group of founder friends. We're in the cutting edge of AI and how we integrate the systems and how you can have, this assistants, but it's a whole setup. It's so difficult. It's going to take six hours. And now we're doing it in a matter of hours, like very short amount of hours. And like the integration, it doesn't, and this changed in a matter of 6 months. So every month there is a lot of these big companies are competing with each other on how faster they can adapt to human use.
Absolutely. Do you think we're standing at one of those rare moments in history that fundamentally changes medicine forever?
Yes, I really think so for several reasons. The way that we analyze images by itself, it has a big, large leap of information that can be translated in milliseconds. The way that we are discovering drugs, it's incredible what has happened in this past, again, 6 months, a year, right? Why? Because, again, these large models of data. First, the images. Let's go for the images. X-rays of the lungs or chest X-rays, right? They would put AI to analyze, a human, a radiologist to analyze, blinded to know who analyzed those. And AI would perform better than their radiologist in a shorter time. Why? Because we have so much data of those pictures with the report of what that means that now it's like it's just a matter of the AI is analyzing those images and spitting with the information. But here's the kick. For people that are afraid that AI will take over, these softwares that AI has always have a supervision. So there is always a human that will supervise that, right? So the report will already shoot, and then a human will actually sign off on that. But the first pass can be done in milliseconds, where if you have a radiologist that is in charge of a floor or the ER, just think of the ER, that there are like 20, 30, 40 beds, and there's patients coming in, and there's just few radiologists. Healthcare is like, unfortunately, my colleagues are like, we're dropping out of the healthcare very, very fast. So there's not a lot of people, and you have a lot of patients. So these tools are starting to help us just move into, okay, let me check. Okay, I can sign off, because it's not, you don't have to go to the process. Let me see the right, let me see the left one. And it's picking up other things that the human eye was not picking, right? So images, diabetic retinopathy. So diabetes, when you are exposed to large amount of glucose, not controlled for long periods of time, your vessels in the periphery, so your eyes, your kidneys, like your skin, your toes, right? Those start loosen the vascularity, the vessels that bring nutrition and oxygen, right? And so later in life, after many years of having diabetes, you start losing those. So now with pictures of the eye, what ophthalmologists would have to do a routine checkup, like, first is the technician, then the doctor will read it, right? But now immediately the software will analyze and will pick that. So you can save somebody's eyesight way before, right? It's the speed of time. So what better way to put to work technology to impact human health?
I love it. Yeah, you're making such a good point about why it should be there, what it does better than us. There's a few things that it does. Data, large data analysis is something that I've seen in our company that, man, it can do so well. Better than people because it can do it so fast. And once
Yep.
it has a huge data set to pull from, it can really analyze data so much faster than we can. It would take a team of humans, and we wouldn't even be able to compete. So it's really neat
Yep.
to see that it's being applied clinically and in hospitals and how it's going to impact patients positively, how it's already impacting them positively. Really cool. But has anything surprised you during your Harvard AI certification that completely changed the way you think about medicine?
I mean, me personally, part of the curriculum was for me to build a software. Oh, did I dive in? I was like, there's no way. First, I'm not techie, right? Like I never wrote any code or anything. And that is part of like what I really like about the AI that's coming in is that you're not required to know that. You just have to know what you're gonna ask, right? So I see us moving into instead of being afraid of AI, I think we're passing that or that we're afraid to how are we going to ask better questions that will deliver in perfect prompts to get to the finish line, right? So and that is what I think this course really helped me with because I was like, wait, and here's something I'm gonna tell everybody, right? You have a specific niche wherever you are, even if you're baking cakes, right? If you are printing t-shirts, it really doesn't matter. I am in healthcare, right? I am in a specific subset of medicine and the research and the stem cell side, right? And I know that if I create a platform where I can analyze all of that data, so my doctor and my QA team don't have to go and make it so hard, and we push a button, it analyzes for itself, and then we have, again, the supervised data analyzed. It's going to make our life easier. So I'm like, here I am. I created a spin-off already. I am raising funds for my software because I think we all have the ability to solve something in our work, something in our life. Mothers, teachers, you don't need to be a engineer now to of course we need the engineers. I'm going to pass it along to the engineers to build it, right? But the idea, they would never know that this was needed, right? Like I do. I'm working every day. I see that gap. I don't want to spend 8 hours reading through all the files when I can have all the files upload, compute, and de-identify. So there's no identity of the patients, right? That is another thing that is so beautiful because it complies with all the regulatory things as well. I think that is for me the excited part that I was able to launch a full-blown project out of that.
That's so cool. What a great thing to have you guys do. It's such a practical application. I love that. Sometimes you go to school and it's so theoretical.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of cool that they actually made it this practical application of AI within your field of medicine, which is pretty awesome. So
Mm-hmm.
there's been a lot of conversation around whether AI will replace doctors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the right question. Do you believe AI will actually outperform physicians in certain tasks?
I think it's performing better in specific things, right? Like getting to a final resolution with specifically the image side, x-rays, again, the pictures of the eye, cardiology. I have a dear friend of mine in Amsterdam. He created a thing like this. It looks like our little AirPods, and it is to listen to the heart, listens to the lungs, but it also is like a scrub. It's like it's a device that's listening to the conversation and it will transcribe all of the conversation into a note taker because doctors or healthcare providers spend the most time after they've seen the patient and just typing, 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 typing. When if they're having the conversation, it could be picking up. Like right now, all of us in our Zoom calls have our note taker, right? And in milliseconds, we have a summary of what happened. But imagine this in the healthcare side. Imagine this listening to lungs and the heart and picking up if I am a regular family medicine physician, so I'm not a cardiologist, and I'm using this, and I can pick up something that is needs and requires the specialist right away. Normally, most of the doctors, unless they're a trained cardiologist, cannot pick in these subtle little moves of the heart. But that ability to, when you go to your PCP, all of a sudden you have the tool of listening to the lungs, that something's happening in the lungs, right? And the report is in, and you can make those bigger calls, right? So I think that AI will outperform us as humans. We're humans. We have a limited brain, right? But what AI will never do is replace your doctor, because humans are so complex. AI has no clue what feelings are, how a patient is coming from a heartbreak with a parent in hospice, with a kid that just committed suicide, with a breakup, with I don't have money to get any of this. AI will never understand how to bring humanity into medicine, and it is great as a tool, and I think it will stay a tool. But medicine is really translating into personalized medicine the more and more we look at it.
100%. I feel like we're really moving in that direction right now. We're finally going to have a deeper understanding. We're really starting to understand how different each person is by looking at our epigenetics. And I mean, the way we're able to break people down for nutrigenomics and look at what each person, what kind of forms of vitamins does this person need? I need different vitamins than other people. I need methylated
Mhm.
vitamins because I don't methylate well. And it's so cool because I couldn't have talked about this 15 years ago. No one would have known what I was talking about because I was talking about it 15 years ago. Nobody got it. But it's so cool that we've finally gotten to this
Yeah.
place where we're really talking about personalized medicine, and we're really talking about being able to use big data analytics to really understand and probably create very personalized plans for each individual patient.
That's where we're moving towards. And unfortunately and I see it, right? As a Latina female scientist that is lucky to work in a scope of people that have the means to go to the doctors and be able to run their metabolomics, their proteomics, their genetic markers, their biomarkers, their like we bring the image, your wearable, all of the wearable data, right? And we load all of this into a very comprehensive system that will put everything together and plan precisely to yourself. It's not one doctor that's doing this. There are many doctors in the longevity field, the integrative medicine, that are already integrating all of this through AI. And it's beautiful because drug interaction, right?
What?
Or if you're absorbing or you're not absorbing, if you really need this or you don't, things like that. I think it is beautiful, and hopefully we get to see this translated to the broader community, because right now, in the middle of 2026, it is for the select few.
Yeah, even my mom talks about the pharmacokinetics. Basically, you
Hmm?
can look at someone's epigenetics and tell which drug is going to be best and most effective for that person based on their epigenetics, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and we're moving to organs on a chip, right? We can
Wow.
build specifically your own organs on a little, they're calling a chip because they're like little petri dishes, right? And then we can test those drugs and then analyze what's secreting out of your own cells and see if that, so drug discovery is changing on that way, that we don't need animal studies and then the bigger animals and then it goes to humans. No, we can actually go straight to human cells and to actual the human patient that we're going to treat and see how it behaves, because now we can analyze proteomics, metabolomics, the genetic markers, the what are the markers that are being secreted by those cells, are they responding to the drug or not? So then it is a better theory, because right now we're relying in such an old school animal based science. None of them translate to humans because they're not humans, but that's the rules, right?
And it's very inhumane too.
Oh
I know
my
you're a
God, don't even.
vegan, and so the inhumanity of the way that we're doing the science on the animals is another thing that perhaps this technology can allow us to perform science in a more humane way.
It is. We are heading that way. As a vegan scientist, it doesn't make me more happy and proud to know that really both of my worlds are meeting in that intersection of, yeah, of course, the scientific data does not translate from animals. Let's use human cells.
Yes. Yes. I hadn't even really made that until you started talking. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that because I do think that there's a tremendous potential for AI to make humans more humane and more human. I really, really do. I think the choice is going to be ours, whether it's our tool and it works for us or
Mhm.
whether it's our master and we work for it.
So here's what I say and what I think is that if we leave AI to do all of the things that we don't need to spend time doing and building and deciding and doing it, then we will have more time to spend with our family, enjoy the outdoors, and be humans and play, right?
Yes.
Because somebody else is taking care. Right now, I have friends that have five of their little softwares that communicate with each other. One is the marketing team, one is the COO, one is the CFO, and they're all communicating. They're sending emails, they're replying. It's phenomenal to see where we are. I don't know if you have those
I
friends.
do. I'm streamlining already. Even what I do with this podcast, it basically goes straight from this podcast into a Google file. And from there goes through an AI workflow that does all the social media automatically. I do have the time to be with my kids. I have little kids. I want to be with them. And the only
Yep.
way I could do this show, honestly, is I've been able to lean into technology and it has
Hmm.
cut my work. So I am the visionary leader and it works for me.
They need mom, right? And mom is doing the human work. So did it replace? No, it made mom work better. And mommy is fulfilling her job, fulfilling herself, and has time for everybody. So I think I see it that way. We will have more time to enjoy ourselves. People love to see it the other way, right? What is it going to take out? I think it's like, what is it adding towards?
I that's how am seeing this too, especially how it's been applied in my life. I don't think I would have dived so quickly into technology had I not already been in the technology field because I've been able to see how technology has digitally transformed the corporate landscape at a very large scale. There was a part of me about 2 years ago that said, "Whoa, what if I started applying this to my life?" Is automation something that I should be doing for myself? And once I did, I mean, I went exponential as far as my creativity, writing,
Mhm.
podcasting, second book coming out this year, you know? Wow. I know. And you can't, I mean, I have 6 children and 2 grandkids, guys. And my little babies are little. I mean, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. So, and the companies and, a life.
Wow.
But I thank goodness that we have this tool. If you lean into this tool in the right way and you use it safely and you use it not to replace your humanity, but to enhance your humanity. I feel like we're getting on the right track. But I do think women need to be involved. I really do.
We're always left behind. This one, hell no. Women have to come up. And I see a big movement of the femtech just leaders that are like, hey girls, where are you? Where are you? In this conference, in this AI conference, right? Like just 20% of women attended this AI conference. Where are my girls?
Wow. This one in Vegas this week?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I
I
just saw
didn't
the
go,
reports.
but I have my whole team there, but they're male. They're not female. But man, the robotics, the cool stuff, the videos that they sent me, oh my goodness. Unbelievable stuff happening over there. I definitely want to go next year. Let's go.
Yep, I am down. Say less. Don't tempt me with a good time, right?
For sure. It's in Vegas. Come on, ladies, let's go. So one of the things we discussed last time you were on the show was how historically underfunded and understudied women health has been. Could AI finally help close the gap?
I think so. I think we're moving that way. Why? Because AI does really good when it computes different things that the norm was not including us. Why were they not including us? Because we're complicated. What do you mean we're complicated? Our hormones are fluctuating throughout the month, right? And then we are pregnant, and pregnant women are not included. And
Mm.
then we're lactating, and lactating women are not included. So now, with the correct data analysis, you can actually see how anything that you're going to study starts varying with our cycles. right? And large language models can actually analyze this complex variety. So our complexity, our beautiful amazingness, can be analyzed. So I think we are at a point where we will see that we'll be translating into more data coming out specifically for women.
Amazing. Do you think it could accelerate the research in menopause?
Menopause and perimenopause. Now that we
Mm.
are aware and loud and proud of this transition, and I really think that now we have women leaders that are in the places that decisions are being made, specifically to start including and to start publishing about this and the ability of using AI as a tool.
Amazing. How do you think this will affect fertility? You think that we can use AI to help fertility rates?
We already are using AI, and that is one of the most exciting things. So there's these devices that take picture of the embryos. We used to just put the embryos in the petri dish and then just take them out once a day, change the media, and just put them back like quiet. Don't have anything, say anything. Now there's this systems enclosed where they have 20 slots, let's just say, and the media is changing, but there's a camera on top that's taking pictures of the embryos growing every 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The embryologist will set up the time. And then that allows you to see how those embryos are growing. And they use AI, a specific system, to do an analysis of the photos of how those embryos are growing. So we usually leave those embryos to grow for 7 days. That's usually the term. 6, 7, 8, those are the days that you would stop them. And then you freeze them, right? But that ability of being able to see, one, the images. Two, now we are getting a little biopsy, the genetic testing, and we get the biopsy from the placental side. So that is another thing, right? When your physician tells you, I would like to do a genetic sampling of your embryos, they're never taking it from the where the baby is going to be developed, is the placental size. And they're like 10 cells from this cluster of 100 to 200 cells. And now you can analyze the genetics of it. Well, before, genetics were just analyzing by counting, but now we have such large amount of data of how much the genetics are changing in these embryos that AI is coming to be a big player on this. So I can't wait for the next 2 to 3 years to see where those research studies that have started in the last year are going to translate there. So fertility is definitely being impacted with AI. In again, as a tool, as an added value.
Amazing. I had no idea. I bet my listeners had no idea. It's so cool to get this information from an insider. Oh my gosh. What do you think? Have you heard anything about autoimmune disease? My family suffers from tremendous autoimmune disease. Is AI helping at all with this?
Well, let's say endometriosis,
Mhm.
PMOS, that now is what it used to be PCOS, right? This disease and autoimmune disease that are specific for women. Now I feel like with AI, we will be able to analyze the data in a way that the women are going to be seen as their own category and not as a subset of the humans, we were a subset of males in data in the way they've analyzed us. No, we're our own category. And I think that with AI, we're bringing this ability for autoimmune, for women specific issues, right? Just how to navigate the world as women. We're not longer little men. That's how medicine has always treated us. So no more of that.
I know, and I've been finishing up the second book. In a lot of ways, the feminist movement 1.0 kind of gave us the honorary badge of being little men. Oh, you're not a woman anymore. Now you're a little man. In fact, took it as like a pledge, like it was this honorary and amazing thing that all the boys in my neighborhood would be like, no, 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 you're not a girl. You're Amy. And it was so weird that, like, I didn't want to be a girl. I would rather be more associated with being a small male, and now as I've come into my own as a woman, hear her roar, and this lioness that I've become after having all these babies, I feel like, honestly, like, birth and the experience of motherhood has really given me this tremendous respect for womanhood that I just didn't have as a little girl. I didn't get it. But now that I
We
see
were
it,
we were
amazing.
never taught how incredible we are and why society has kept us down because we're so powerful. And I think we're coming up to realize that. I always say there's a reason why we're in charge of the species, period. We're smarter,
Mhm.
we're more intuitive. We know why. We know why way before anybody knows. And mama, mama knows. Mama really knows. But it is because we are in charge of the species survival. And if we start teaching our daughters this, we are superwomen. we have superpowers.
We really do. I mean, we literally pull beings from some other place and bring them through to this planet. It's kind of amazing.
You did 6 of those, baby girl.
It's just like amazing. 5 of them I pulled through myself. One I
Yeah.
got from when her mom passed away, but the 5 that I
But you're
brought through,
still raising them.
unbelievable. I know, it's like being a mom gives you a tremendous. I do think that motherhood is like this apprenticeship to the wisdom that we then bring as we become the mature women, the wise women of humanity. During that time that we spend as mothers, we're learning how to
Yep.
manage people, how to read people, how to communicate with people, even
Yeah.
communicating with people who don't know how to communicate. That's your job.
Everything ends up being our job, right? Today, I was talking to a friend of mine. She happens to be a therapist, and she was saying, I don't think our parents knew how much, and that is what her mother told her. She's like, you've taught me more than I knew just by being your mother. And she has carried that now that she's a
Mm.
mother. So, and you have 6
Oh
kids
my
to learn
gosh.
from, right? And
I learned
now
from all of them.
and then the grandkids are coming, right?
They're here too. Yes, I learned from them too. Yeah, you do. You have to learn how to communicate, and everybody's so different. Everybody is such a different, there's not a one size fits all for humanity. Like, if every mother knows that every child is
Mhm.
uniquely different. And I think
Yeah.
as physicians, people have always kind of approached the old school physician, the old school style was one size fits all medicine.
Yeah. And
And
I feel we're moving away from that for sure. I'm so fortunate to be surrounded by many physicians from many different specialists that are seeing the human as one, right? The human as this whole complex and not the eye doctor, the heart doctor, the lung doctor, even though there are subspecialties, but they still are bringing in the entirety. And that is something my father started working with 50 years ago, and he was not understood back then. And today is like, hello, that's what everybody's doing.
that's amazing. You're so lucky that you have had such an amazing mentor in your dad also. It's such a encouraging person in your life for you to pursue medicine, which isn't always something that he's encouraged. I still feel like there's, not as many. I mean, it's more now, but my mom, with the pharmacy school, my mom would always say, back when she went to pharmacy school, there were very few women
Of
in the
course.
early 70s. And so it's neat to see that we're seeing more and more women in these medical specialties and STEM.
Yeah. And not only that, because now in medicine, I know that in the US, we're at a point where right now we finally are 50-50. I think this year we have more women enrolled to become doctors. So they will be flooding the specialties. What I'm now focused on is making sure that those women that reached can get into executive levels, C suite. Do not get that. And that is the leap. They stay as OBs, pediatricians, family medicine, which are like the less paid. Women are paid, even if they're in the same specialty, they're paid less because they're women, which is the craziest thing. But also, they are usually fulfilling roles that are the ones that are not making the most amount of money, right? So, and then they don't jump the ladder into the C suite. So that is my next. How do we do that? How do we mentor those? And it's been very interesting because the system doesn't prepare us to be that.
It's so true. Tell me more about that?
Recently, like literally yesterday, like we're in this group of women that are helping another friend prepare an event, and I'm pulled into all of the money conversations. We're dealing with sponsors and things like that, and And we all, because we're women's, we're nurturers, right? We are people pleasers. We're like, it's okay, we'll do that. As doctors, they never teach us the business side, right? But I've been doing business for so long that I'm like, girls, no, this is like, you gotta charge them. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's a 10 by 10, is a 20 by 20. You just gotta charge them more, double, actually. Like, it's cool, they're gonna add, but still, this is a business. And so I've been like, I'm the one that just keeps pushing, and receive a phone call from one of them saying, Mari, I don't know what to do. What type of corporation do I open? What do I have to think about? Because they've trained us to become incredible physicians, compassionate. We deal with so many things and we excel, but nothing about business. So I'm like, girl, think about NDAs the second that you step in. Think about this, patent, start doing this, doing that. And she just replied at 11 p.m. She's like, I don't think anybody has ever told me any of that. Thank you so much. Noted. And can we jump on a call? I'm like, yes, we're doing that. Like, we are going to change everybody's perspective because we need the founder women. We need the C executive. We need to sit in boards. We need to be where the big decisions are being made because our points of view are never taking, nobody cares to include us. So we got to start sneaking in and being counted for.
Heck yeah. We got to show up. I just think it's our turn. I really do. I feel like there's a big shift in humanity happening right now. I can feel this tide of rise for the women. I feel it deeply in my bones. And when my second book comes out, I think everybody will see how much I'm feeling this. But yeah, I feel like humanity will not continue unless women step up and assert our position at the rightful side of man, not beneath, but right at their side, because I do feel like that is where nature put us. That is where God put us, if you believe in God. And I really think that, evolutionarily speaking, like we talked on the last time you were on my podcast, I mean, women have a role in human society that has not been fulfilled for the last, I don't know, at least 100 years, but probably more.
Over 2000, when the
Really?
Bible was rewritten, to
Yeah,
ensure that there
you're
was
right. Yeah,
patriarchy in that one. So
333 Council of
m-
Nicaea. Yeah. Well,
more
things
than that.
started to get weird, when women fell in their position in society during the patriarchy, for sure. And then, how women have even fallen out even a little bit more with the third industrial revolution. I do feel like the third industrial revolution in some ways kind of impacted women's ability to be home with their kids in a lot of ways, because it was kind of like a go to the office latchkey kid kind of time for humanity. And now we're seeing the repercussions of that on society where, people are lonely and sad, and there hasn't been these social bonds created because women haven't had the time to do the work that women have typically been able to do in society. But hopefully we can balance all this out using technology.
I think so. That's how we're going to liberate some of those time restrictions, right? This is so fascinating because even when we are against all of the odds, we're still pulling, right? We're still women surgeons have the best outcomes. The less amount of people come back for any kind of complications, there's less infections. So and that's just the surgeons, right? Just the surgeon. But imagine what women can do. Statistically, we really bring to the economy a lot more. So, and starting from like really behind, because we really have to fight 10 times harder to be in that field. So I think the power, we have enough women in power right now that are making those moves. And that's why I think what you were saying, right? Like, I feel it. I can see it. We can sense it because more and more women that have power and they're in positions of power and the ability. And that's why I think it's a call for the women to start getting into AI, start building, start getting the conversation, start modeling yourself to be the change maker, because we all have the ability. In this one, we're all at ground zero. This thing just started. So don't let the boys take all of the things. Like, get in.
100%. Exactly. Yes, we're all beginners. There is no one who knows more than anybody else. We're
Mm-hmm.
all just getting started with this technology. So you're not behind. You're right where you need
Mm-hmm.
to be. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. So what breakthroughs are you the most personally excited for about women with this technology?
In healthcare, right? I think we're going from a preventative medicine to a precision medicine because we're going to be now, understanding what is about to happen before it happens. And preventative medicine was that, like, let's try to do this and that and that. But now we actually are pinpointing the data points of this about to happen. Either your heartbeat skipped one and it was not supposed to, so there's an alarm telling you that, right? Or the data about your cholesterol, right? Like the types of cholesterol, the analysis of those deep analysis that will be picked up 5 years before you have a heart attack. So that precision medicine right now, I think we're heading towards that, and I'm mostly excited about that. Again, it's my field, is what I do, is what I'm passionate about. But I think it's going to be more comprehensive to all humans because I understand it because I'm a physician scientist, right? Like I've been speaking this, I've been learning this, but now everybody has these wearables, right? Everybody is going for even the DEXA scan that we continue to promote for more women to access and to know the data. Why are we asking you to go and get one of this? We need to see the density of your bones. We need to see the density of your muscle mass and the visceral fat, how much fat is inside of your organs. This predicts how long you're going to be in a bad stage of inflammation, right? In a stage where a lot of the diagnoses will start having names. But if we start at this point, we can see and change right away things now, right? So I am excited about that. Like we are moving towards a different type of medicine.
So, okay, ladies need to get a DEXA scan. Sounds good? That's the thing. I
Please.
need to do that. I haven't done that.
Oh my God, let's go for it. So it's usually prescribed over 60, 65 that your insurance will cover it. But that's when you already broke your hip, right? I did mention it on our last episode. I think one of my friends owns a weighted vest company, but she started that because she was diagnosed with osteopenia and osteoporosis, like very weak bones at 30 years old.
30. Oh my
hmm
gosh. Whoa.
So,
Wow.
so now her company that sells this weighted vests also comes with a free DEXA scan because for her mission is to make sure that nobody gets to the point where she was at. Because nobody at 30 is considered old, right? So, it's not, we don't need to wait till 60 where she would have broken her bones if nobody would told her this, right? So how do we make sure that, because women live longer, how do we make sure that we live longer but with quality of life, right? And a simple analysis like the DEXA scan can allow us to see where is your quality of bone. We, because of society, are under eating. And it sucks. It sucks to see women deteriorating their quality of life in this transition because everything you did before, because you wanted to be thin, 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 and be a size 0 or whatever it is. I never know. And I can never keep track. I'm a
We're
thick
Latinas.
girl.
We don't do that.
I, I'm a thick girl. I'm a proud thick girl. But a lot of people comply with that, with society, right? Like that is something that it is like a requirement for them and their friends, right? But then, as a physician scientist, as a mom, as a woman that supports women, is like, girls, let's start seeing this from the other side. Like your 40-year you, your 50-year you, your 60-year, your 70-year you. If you slip and fall and you fracture your hip, you only have a 1-year survival rate. And
Oh my
that sucks.
God. 1
When
year?
we can live, that is the statistics at that age, right? So I don't want you there. I want you with strong muscles, with strong bones. So if you slip you bruise and don't break something, because you will need that surgery that will eventually kill you, right? Or have you bedridden, or have you in assisted living, in a really shitty quality of life. And my dad says, like, don't think about that. I'm like, I want to think about that because I want to prevent that to happen, right? I don't want that to ever happen to anybody. Start lifting the weights. Jump 10 times. That will make your bones stronger. So jump 10 times in the morning and jump 10 times in the afternoon. We talked about this, but let's drop it again.
Yeah.
Unbreakable is the book from Dr. Vonda Wright. She has beautiful, comprehensive, very quick workouts that every woman should be doing just to make stronger bones and stronger muscles.
Amazing. Yeah, because you're right. We have to take every day that we live as the day that we're protecting our future self. And that's how I look at my you should see my vitamin cabinet. But yeah, I mean, my everything I eat is very functional. I'm thinking about getting my micronutrients, my macronutrients. I'm trying to make sure that when I am 90 years old, because I am 43 years older than my youngest child, I want to be in really good shape. I really do. So I'm thinking today about tomorrow.
Yep. As a mom, you're already thinking, I want to be here around them when they hit those milestones. Yeah. And going back to the simple things, since you pinpoint that you have a really large vitamin cabinet, eating your raw whole foods is more important than having the cabinet of 80,000 vitamins that are extremely expensive, because people think that they cannot access health just because they don't have the money to have those expensive multivitamins and nutrient dense packets and pills. The secret is in chewing your whole grains, just the leafy greens, 3 servings of leafy greens, even 2 servings of leafy greens, right? Adding nuts, specifically Brazilian nuts or walnuts, are going to help you with your brain, right? Those things that look like simple, they don't cost a lot, right? Making sure that you are eating the rainbow every single day. You have all of your minerals and vitamins and antioxidants there, right? So it's simple. It is possible to do it that way.
100%. And almost all of the doctors that I've heard speak recently have all talked about the importance of fiber and beans in their diet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for the
Yep.
microbiome,
Hmm.
for you feeling full, all of these things. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
so
okay.
beans actually are one group that was scientifically proven that if we just add 1 serving of beans a day, a percentage of living longer and healthier grows. It is because it comes back packed with fiber and protein, and like the really good nutrition is like complete in just a serving. So with beans and all of the beans, right? Just making sure that you don't overdo. So don't eat that many, because then you're like, oh, I'm very gassy because I ate this. So start with smaller portions, right? But do rotate through so many beans. Black beans, pinto beans, the gigante beans, the Greek gigante beans. I'm like obsessed with them. Lupini beans. If you've never heard of lupini beans, go grab some lupini beans. Really low carb content, really high protein, really high fiber. Those are my snacks on the go everywhere, because in Ecuador we have a version of the lupini beans, but now Italy has lupini beans and they're exporting, and Whole Foods has it, and they're packed. It's super easy to take. So instead of you eating chips that have absolutely nothing more than like the crunchiness, that's the satisfaction, try lupini beans.
I'm going to. I'm gonna go get some. I've never had one before. Can't wait to try
Yep.
it. Yeah,
Yep.
I do a
Can't
lot I
wait.
do lentils quite a bit too, because I'm a lentil girl, but I do love black beans and pinto beans, it's part of our culture.
I love it. I love how AI became nutrition. Let's
I know,
go.
we always, because we're women and this is how we think. We're like, so we're not linear, we're cyclical.
Wee.
It's what we do and we're embracing it.
Yes, absolutely. I'm here with you.
So, how do you think that AI can help women advocate for themselves when they feel dismissed by the healthcare system?
Oh boy. I really think that we need to take accountability for ourselves, right? We are in a system that does not have us as a main character, we got to be our own main character, and we got to start advocating for ourselves. Doctors are going to dismiss you, and not because they're bad, because they were taught to dismiss women in the transition. They were taught to, oh, here comes the crazy lady because she's in those years. That is what they taught us, right? Having your symptoms tracked from 35 years on, every single symptom that you are noticing, track it. Bring it to the attention of your doctors. If they are like, it's all good, take a bubble bath, have some champagne, change your physician. Look for other physicians. I always say, look for the second opinion, look for a third opinion. Ask your friends who they trust on the doctors that have been that have a year out, like that they're listening to you. If they're dismissing you, run.
100%. I love that advice. It's so true. Yeah. If I don't feel good about a doctor, I'm usually like, bye. Because you have to remember we're paying them, right? They work for us.
Absolutely. And I think look for a women physician. Not that all women physicians are good, but we are statistically shown to be more in tune to listen and to say, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. And that comes in like delivery. Women are super dismissed. Women in the ER, when they're talking about pain, they have to wait 3 times to get the same dosage if a man that is complaining with the exact same thing comes in. Women of color are more dismissed. There is systematic racism and bias already implicit in the system. So they think that women of color don't feel pain as everybody else, that women don't can resist more pain than male can. So they receive faster care for pain. And this is like, it will change. So advocate. It doesn't matter. Be a pain in the butt. Be a pain in the butt, because what you're feeling is a real feeling.
Exactly. Well, medicine's traditionally treated people based on averages, but none of us
Hmm.
are average. Are we moving towards a future where healthcare becomes deeply personalized? Yes, obviously, we're moving in that direction. How long do you think it's going to take us to get there, though?
I think we're there. As I
Yeah.
said, for the people that have the money, we're already there. We're seeing this. I'm in Florida. You're in California. I see so many longevity clinics that are doing personalized medicine. So many, integrative medicine specialists from different specialists are getting a double board certification to integrate these other things, right? So I think we're there already. We've entered the chat already.
Yeah. Do you think that we'll ever be there for the average Joe or maybe even the low income person? Do you think that this technology could bring the scale, the cost model down or create a world where we fundamentally are able to provide equitable healthcare?
I want to believe so. I think we have a responsibility right now, whoever are molding the systems right now, to make sure that we include all minority communities and that there's no bias in it. Because once the systems are set, if they were not fed with like those blind sides, they will never see it. It is our responsibility to be there in the table when those built systems are being built, which is now, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is the moment where we get to decide if we get to
Hmm.
have equitable healthcare, if we could scale this to be available to people that are on Medi-Cal, Medicare, those kinds of people, which I think that's the dream for me is technology making a more equitable world. Equitable for women and men, equitable for all of society, all races,
All
you know.
social classes. I am with
Yes.
you. I think that is where the goal should go for sure.
Yeah, and I do think technology we absolutely could make this happen with technology, but it has to be I think we have to raise our voices and say, "Hey, we wanna do this. Let's do this," and
I
get the
can
right
raise my
people.
voice.
Yeah, I'm all, "Okay, who votes yes on this one?" "Me." I love it. So could AI combine someone's genetics, hormones, sleep, nutrition, stress, wearable devices, medical history, and create truly individualized care? It's already doing it, right?
We're already there.
So
We
cool.
we there's so many companies already integrating this. I know there's IP being written around it, but I think we went way faster than the IP was even written. I don't know how IP will be maybe in the data analysis piece can be IP'd, but this transition of this last year and a half, 2 years has been so fast that that's what we're doing. And there's a lot of people that are just experimenting with it, right? They're just like, hey, what if I put this and that and connect this and that? And all of a sudden they're sitting with like, whoa, look what I just got. And it's not one person, it is a lot of people that are doing it. And then when you have professionals in charge of that, then you have these physicians that are overseeing their patients. So there's protocols that are being systematically created to ensure that all of this. So precision medicine, that's where we're going.
Holy moly, it's so exciting to me. It's always something that as a little girl I wanted to be a doctor. I don't know if you knew that about me, but if you would have asked me what I
Yeah.
wanted to be when I was 6 years old, I would have said a doctor. But I always felt like there was a big gap in it.
Hmm.
But there was a part of me that was like, I think I might be disappointed if I went into that field just because it wasn't where I knew it could be. But I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's finally getting to that place where we're gonna actually heal people, cure people, rather than just treat existing diseases?
That's where we're at. I really think that, as I said, preventative medicine is moving towards precision medicine because of that. We are getting to understand what are those small transformations that are happening internally and computing them, right? The data is being collected. It's being collected very early on, not when a heart attack is happening, where something major is happening. We are detecting those times before.
That's next level. It's so, so cool, and we're able to do that using, like, the wearables and bringing this kind of, like, at-home technology?
Yeah, I mean everything that you just mentioned, right? Mix in genetics, metabolomics, biomarkers. Biomarkers is expanding, immune genetics. There's so much that can now be. Again, it's like you can do so much at home with your wearables, like mixing your Whoop with your Aura, with your Apple Watch, and so you can get a very good idea. But when you add your laboratories to it, when you add your medical history, your family history, and you start compounding a little bit more, then a better system is created for you.
That's so fun. Are you playing with all of your own stuff? Just because I know
Yes.
that's me. I'm always, experimenting. So, yeah, I can only imagine. So you're playing with your wearables and your blood tests and all of your own stuff?
Yeah, for me, data is so important as a physician scientist, right? Data is what really rules, like the statistics of how I'm behaving. So yeah, I got a checkup like what a year ago, and my doctor friend, my doctor, she's like, "Girl, what's happening here?" And I'm like, "I don't do cardio," and she's like, "What do you mean you don't do cardio?" I'm like, "I lift heavy weights." And she's like, "Oh, heck no. We're going to count steps now." And the only way for me to be accountable for it was the Aura Ring. So for me, it's like a very small thing, right? But that was incredible. In 3 months that we did the laboratories and all the tests, it was like, oh, we cleaned up really good. And I was like, just by having accountability, right? Just by knowing that it's something so stupid and small, right?
Right?
I'm so healthy, but I still could have optimized better. So here we are optimizing because for me, I run in data and statistics in like real numbers.
Yeah, and so it allowed you to optimize yourself further, which then gives
Mhm.
you better longevity, Have you ever seen what your cellular age is? I'm so curious about those things, all these biohackers, their cellular age.
Yeah. Sorry to break it to everybody. These are just I don't want to say make believe, but there's nothing actually telling us that we are like, 5 years younger, 10 years younger. There's some that say 20 years younger. Those are internal statistic ways of depending on the device, right? Every device now has this. But they're just points and numbers that they're computing, and I'm too much, again, of a physician scientist that follows evidence base that, okay, really show me the biomarkers of senescence to tell me you are there, right? Anybody can tell me and create their own little data analysis and say, oh, now you're 10 years younger.
So what do you think about these guys that are like hardcore? I mean, these like health bro guys that are into this hardcore longevity thing. You're in the longevity world, but you're not on that side of it. What do you think of that's a thing that's happening?
Oh boy. I'm gonna keep this one quiet. Because I think it's time for the longevity girls. You can make a name for yourself and you can start selling a lot of things and make a lot of money. And even if your heart was good on the longevity side, I still see a lot of these people are very influenced by who's paying their bills, right? What is making their money. But is there evidence on those things? Not really. And I shoot from that point, right? I'm here to educate. I'm here to really have beautiful dialogues. And how do we translate this into minority community, women and people of color, immigrants, right? Like, how do we access that, which is not coming from the longevity bros? I don't want to say I'm sick of them,
But
but
it's an extreme right now. It's an extreme. And
right.
I kind of get what they're going for. You know, you do, if you want to live a long time, you want to live to be a healthy person who lives to be old, not a sick person who lives to be old. Yes, thank you, 100%.
We're all on board on that.
Yeah. So, and you know, your practice around regenerative medicine, it just gives you a really unique perspective right here.
Yeah, and
So,
again, if you're not analyzing real markers of senescence, what are you doing? Like, you just use a marketing word for biohack. Biohacking just became this like marketing thing. Like, let's all go and to cold plunges because it's going to make us more manly. But for women in perimenopause and menopause, beware of that. Don't do that. Like, do consult with your physicians that are trained in that because it will harm you, right? Like, eh, are they saying that? No, they're not, right?
why are
They're
they
just
not?
there.
Why will it harm you? Do tell. I'm curious.
It does not go with our biology. Like, at the end of the day, it does not do well with us. Cold plunge actually have been looked into scientifically, and there's a portion of it that can help, but depending on who is doing it, for how long, what is the scenario, like, is it, and this is what I really bugs me, is the one solution for everything. It's going to revolutionize and change this one thing. When we have trillions of cells and we're so multifaceted as humans that there's no one pill or one injection, one peptide, or one thing that is going to change your life. Sorry to break it, bros, but it's not. Like, it's science. Like, we are biologically so complex that we need a lot of things accounted for. And this is where I come back to. It has to be the simple shifts that change our life. I'm going back to, I'm not making any money on the sunlight. I'm not making any money on you gotta go to sleep. I'm not making any money on go drink really good water, on have gratitude, of create a community, of eat your greens or veggies, your nuts, your seeds, like, those are the things. Let's go back there and then add some AI.
And then add some AI. Yeah, you're right. Because AI could probably and will eventually figure out what is marketing from what is actually going to improve our longevity, don't you think?
You can use it again as a tool. I think it's very powerful for you to also analyze who's telling you BS.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
So AI is already helping researchers discover new drugs much faster than before. How significant is that?
It's huge. The leap on drug discovery is ginormous. From a drug discovery developer myself, I can tell you in this last year, the amount of filings that have come to have surfaced just through AI mining of the data. So, two things. One, being able to the already FDA approved drugs be repurposed for different things, so for different indications that already exponentially got faster into phase 3 because they're already proven, but they're not proven for that indication. our like file for a lot of things. And then second, we've been able to find uh, single components in nature or minerals and things like, I'm just giving the very basic like terminology, right? So ingredients and components that we did not know that those could impact. So a lot of drug discovery has been impacted with AI in these last 2 years.
Amazing. So, do you think AI could dramatically accelerate regenerative medicine and stem cell therapies?
Absolutely. I already know it. There is one leading company with a Harvard fintech leader that is already sitting in that edge of how do we again take the pictures, like the image side of how we scale cell development, but cell manufacturing. So much to do. So much very interesting how the field is growing.
Amazing. When we think about longevity, are we talking about living longer or are we talking about living healthier?
I think the only conversation has to be quality of life, right? We can be hit tomorrow by a truck. All of us can just be in an accident, right? But if you today, the day that you woke up, are enjoying quality of life, it doesn't matter for how long, right? The healthy lifespan is what we should be going for. I think that is the biggest biohack.
Oh, it totally is. I just want to wake up every morning and not be sore. For me, that's when I know I'm doing well. I'm managing my diet well and exercise well if I wake up because I'm 47. So sometimes my neck will be achy or my hands will go numb while I'm sleeping. And it's like if I do the right things, I can
Mhm.
feel better. But if I do the wrong things, I can feel worse. But they're the little choices that I make every single day are going to impact how I feel.
Yeah, our bodies age regardless, and sometimes I feel I've been in this field for 20 years, and actually I've been in this field for over 35 years, if it's not more, because of my father. And I've always seen that people wanna fight the aging piece when aging is our biological clock. Every single chromosome, our DNA, it is structured like a clock to to age, right? So why are we fighting against age? What is this like addiction with saying I am younger than you are because of this when we are older, we're wiser. And when we're wiser, we can spread so much more knowledge. So I think we gotta redefine that, and again, make space for the longevity girls, the longevity ladies. Let's pick a name because I'm sick of the motto that the bros have.
Heck yeah, girlfriend. 1,000%. It's time for the girls to take over longevity because I think that we're
Yeah.
probably looking at it from really from a more holistic approach, a less
Sustainable.
sustainable and less egoistic. You know, the dudes are like, my telomeres are longer than yours.
Me, 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 me. Correct. And we
So,
know what we're talking about, right?
so what breakthroughs do you believe we'll witness over the next decade?
I can't even imagine the amount of things that are coming. I specifically, I'm interested on those that are going to space because I'm involved in projects in space now. So that is very fascinating to me in terms of understanding how we explore in space to translate into Earth. We age faster there. So a 5-minute ride, for example, can translate a 10-year project on Earth. So we can learn so much. So those are the things that I am excited about. But there's so much because there's fields that I don't know, but they are growing. Like and our kids and in our grandkids, right, will be developing things that we didn't even imagine that were in the map to develop. So 10 years, you're saying 10 years, just to see how AI has changed by the month this last 6, 8 months. It's like, whoa, 10 years is a long time.
Isn't it amazing to even think about it? I know I've seen just
Mhm.
a huge shift even the last 6 months with AI and what's happening, especially at the personal level, the consumer level AI. It's
Yep.
amazing. And it happens like every month, you're right. It's like Wow. It really is. Every revolutionary technology comes with extraordinary opportunity and possibilities. Is there anything that
And
concerns you?
responsibilities.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. What concerns you about what's happening right now and what's about to happen?
But yeah, I really think I'm going to bring it back to what I said is the responsibility of us shaping those softwares to include the ones that always have been left behind, right? The minorities, women of color, women, socioeconomic people that are not in the high tier, right? If you don't include all of those subsets, they're never going to be included and always going to be excluded. So, like, your algorithms will never think about them. So, biases, right? Always making sure that all of your software. So, when you are molding, if you are already discovering and already creating software, do think about that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the pregnant women and the lactating women have been left out for so long. Really an unstudyable group. And
Women have been
women,
left,
women,
have
it's
completely been left out of science.
yes, it's about time. I mean, how many women are on the planet now? Like probably like well over 3.5 billion.
We are half of 51% of the population. We are the most amount of the population, for God's sake. We're allowed to be upset.
I think we should be. Yeah. So what conversation should we be having now before AI becomes even more integrated into healthcare? Do you have anything about like access, patient data, privacy? We've talked about bias, but is there anything else like that you think we should be speaking to the programmers about?
I think we're covering. This is the thing that it went faster than the regulations went, and I think it is time. I think we're coming around the corner of where regulations are being set. But yeah, I mean, you hear about big companies being hacked, and then where is all that information stored? And very sensitive information, right? So it went faster than regulatory, and
Definitely.
it's scary, but that's how it worked.
Absolutely.
And really think that now we have realized what we lacked in the sense of like systems and securities for data private privacy and so on, that I actually just met this young woman in New York that she is only investing in the risks of AI. And I
Wow.
was like, what do you mean, girl? And
Well,
she's really only invested in companies, like heavy lifting capital to solve all of the things that we're not seeing, the things that we have not regulated. So I think we're on it,
yeah,
but we need
absolutely.
more.
We do, yeah. I know even in our industry, we're seeing companies realizing that there are security issues with not having their data on-prem, like in their own in their own
Wow.
building.
Hmm.
We're seeing this migration back to an old school technology due to safety issues, that we kind of we're hoping that we would be able to bypass all of that using technology and be able to, go straight to the cloud and stay there permanently. But now after applying the cloud over a broad period, over many broad companies across the globe for quite a few years now, being able to see that that's not quite, it's not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, not there yet. So who should be helping build these systems? Engineers, doctors, patients,
Not the engineers. I think we
researchers?
gotta go after with to the engineers when we want to fine tune everything because of obviously they're the specialists. But
Yeah.
if we are not identifying how we want to solve things, because you have the experience of what didn't work. So regular people, I think regular people should be solving the biggest problems. Yes, of course, doctors being brought in, studying in this course of AI in healthcare, we saw that in for the longest amount of time, engineers would sit and will elaborate this, but no doctors were brought into the conversation. And then it was like, what are we doing? You need the doctors that are going to operate, use, right? And the ones that have been in the industry for so long, and their point of view is needed, right? So I really think that just regular people in the industry can see where the spots are that we're lacking. So what are those dark spots that nobody's seeing, but you are seeing it because you're suffering every day, like, right? If you have to clock these things every single day and you're just annoyed about it, think about those annoying points where I could have been doing things better. I could have been jumping in the pool. I could have been playing with my kid. I could have been driving to whatever it is. Those need automation. Those need AI integration. Those can be sped up. So if you have the idea, I would say go for it. Launch your own company, launch your own idea, sell your idea.
I love it. Ari, you're so rad. What responsibilities do women have to participate in shaping the future of AI?
All the responsibilities. As I said before, the boys are taking over this industry, and come on, girls. We're all at a level field right now. It is time for you to show up, and you don't need to be an expert. You don't need to be a coder to be in this industry. Nobody knows a lot. Just get inspired by just like a few podcasts, few certifications, get into playing with AI. There's so many ways to play with AI and get in.
Yeah, totally. Let's go rapid fire. One word. No overthinking. AI is
Revolutionary.
amazing. The future is
Female.
medicine is
Ooh, warm. I don't know why I went for warm, but yeah, medicine is. So I'm gonna stay with warm.
okay.
Makes
Health
me
is
happy.
health is
An auto control.
innovation is
Needed.
yeah. Leadership is
A responsibility.
women are
Goddesses.
hope is
Force of life. That's more than word.
I like it. Hope is a force of life. I agree. And one final question. If every woman listening today could do just one thing to prepare herself for the future of AI in healthcare, what would you tell her?
Be curious. Be educated about it. Be curious and therefore look for the answers. And they're free now. So prompt, prompt, prompt. Learn to prompt. Learn. And prompt means ask questions. So we're all going to be involved in this. Who asks the better questions, the more refined questions, and you can even ask your Claude, ChatGPT, whatever it is that you use, create prompts to better describe this. So you can even ask how to prompt better. So, but it is going to differentiate us all. What are the questions that we're asking, and how detailed we are when we're asking those questions to get better at this craft.
You are amazing. We love you. If the girls listening want to find you, where can they find you, Dr. Mari, in case they haven't seen you before?
DrSDR-Mari, Mari.com. All of my handles are there. I'm active in social media. Do slide through my DMs. I love to have chats. I love to connect with powerful women and women that have questions. I'm here for you.
You're amazing. And I want to go live with you too. I think we should go live. That'd be fun.
Let's go.
Let's go live. So yes, I'm looking forward to all the things with Dr. Mari. We love her. So glad you were here today. So I think one of the biggest takeaways from today's conversation isn't that AI is replacing humanity. It's challenging us to become even more human. The future of medicine won't be defined by machines. It'll be defined by the people who choose how those machines are used. And I believe women have an extraordinary opportunity to help shape that future. Not simply because we care about healthcare, but because we've always understood that medicine sometimes forgets. Healing is more than treating a disease. It's seeing a whole person. And perhaps that's exactly what this new era of medicine needs. Dr. Mari, thank you so much for joining us again. It's always such a joy to have you here. And to everyone listening, if today's conversation inspired you, please share this episode with someone who wants to understand where healthcare is headed. Because the future isn't something we wait for, it's something we help create. I'm Aimee Rickabus. Thank you for joining me on The Manage Her. Until next time, keep leading, keep learning, and keep cultivating the extraordinary potential that's already growing within you. Bye, girls. See you on Monday.